It connected. Here's what I did, that I'm having a problem. So my kids are driving me crazy because they cannot seem to um, remember the like two basic rules I have in my house. Like, let's say three basic rules: don't eat in the basement because you drop things all over the place. Please flush the toilet when you take a poop, and pick up your clothes. Like, basic around here for the summer. They just can't seem to remember, so I just am tired of having the conversation. So what I'm doing instead is, if I see that they didn't do something correctly, I just like end the internet to their specific device, right? So I just pause the internet, and then they have to figure out what it is they did and then text me about it, because I don't wanna have a conversation either, and then I'll give the internet back to them. So I think yesterday I paused the wrong device. I paused my own device. Um, and so now I'm not able to get on TikTok. Right? Is that what's happening here? I don't know. Hmm, let me double check. And if it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. Okay. Device details. We're good. We're good. I think that was all I did. Pause. Ah! All right. Oh my god, you guys. All right. I'm back. Holy crap. All right. What kind of morning are you having over there? Wow. All right. Well, I know. I'm just kind of rolling with it. Like, what can you do? What can you do? But I'm live everywhere now. My devices are unpaused. I need to like start naming them, obviously. I thought that the phone that I paused was my other son's phone. It's clearly not. So cool, cool. We figured it out. Sorry for the delay. But yeah, I basically made a little graphic. Like, I made a graphic and I was like, is your Wi-Fi not working? Why don't you check these things? Like, all the things that possibly could have happened, and like go figure out what you did, take a picture, text it to me, and then you might get your Wi-Fi back, because I'm so like, is anybody else like just exhausted of like saying the same things over and over again, and like for posterity, you know? Ah, so Christy. So that's that. I'm going to Connecticut tonight, for my dad's 80th birthday celebration. So we'll be doing that this weekend. And man, August is really, it's really doing it. It's really doing it. How are you guys doing? What's the vibes like? Oh no, I have a delay on Instagram. Jesus. Am I on the delay for everybody on Instagram? Hi, Susan. Tired. Roller coaster. Okay, good. I don't have a delay for everybody, so that's good. No idea what I'm doing. Joined. Welcome. Same. Um, so we're obviously gonna get to some cards, but I just before we get to the cards, and maybe the cards will affirm this for us this morning, but I just kind of want to remind you guys about a little something if you need this too, because I know I need to hear it this week. I know a lot of people close to me need to hear it this week. Um, it is really hard to break the programming of wanting to be like a normal person, right? Like wanting to be somebody who is accepted in society. Do you know what I'm saying? Like who checks all the boxes and the ticky tacky things, and like, just to succeed in that perception of what success is, and like in that in that manner. And the way that that whole patriarchal society is structured is a very like step by step kind of thing, and if you miss a step, it it kind of ruins the whole thing, right? So if you're like, I'm 40, I don't have a career of 20 years in corporate America. I don't have, the things that are like you're supposed to be done with by the time you're 40. So, according to that metric, I'm not a successful person, right? It's really hard to break that. But just remind yourself when you're kind of wrestling with those thoughts now that you weren't able to do that, right? You weren't able to successfully be that person if you're here, usually, if you're attracted to this vibe, like you weren't, right? Let yourself be who you are now and see how much easier things are for you. Like, really remember that. Like, things are changing now. That old society is literally burning to the ground around us, like on a daily basis. What's new? You're part of it. You're creating it, and you are perfectly suited for it. So, if you didn't fit into the old, great. That means this is for you now, and you are the architect of it. There isn't someone ahead of you who's creating the blueprint. You are the blueprint creators. That's why it feels so strange, right? Because you can't lean upon other people to create it for you. You have to create it. So just remember that. That's kind of where we're at right now. And it can be lonely sometimes, right? And it can be a little scary, but we got this. All right. I'm going to give you three things. This is coffee and magic. Choose the one that feels most aligned with you this morning. Um, and that will be your coffee and magic for this day. I'm a dog person since he passed in April. I'm itching to get another companion. I'm thinking a cat. Never had one. Am I crazy? No, I think you need a cat. You'll never hear me say don't get a cat. Cats are amazing. It's totally different energy from dogs. And I think the perfect the perfect magical companion. And in honor of that, let's do cats this morning. Okay? So I'm going to give you three cats. You pick your favorite, or the one that feels most aligned with you this morning, and then that will be your message. So we've got a tiger cat, a black cat, and a gray cat. Tiger cat, black cat, gray cat. Tiger, black, gray. Let me write it down. Tiger cat, black cat, gray cat. Very official names of all the cats. This morning, I woke up and Harlow, my newest little baby snake, who's actually living in my room right now, was like at the window, and we got to have a little hang session this morning over coffee, which is pretty cool. You probably haven't seen him too much yet, but he's a baby and he is so pretty. Um, and I've had him for about 2 weeks now. I love how my cat, like Priscilla, will like wake up and you can just see in her face that she's like craving violence. She's like, I gotta kill something. I gotta attack something. I love that about her. All right, so tiger cat, black cat, gray cat. Shuffle, shuffling. Tell me when you're ready for tiger cat. Wait, what do you mean these were all the colors in the choice? So you're choosing from a tiger cat, a black cat, or a gray cat. So choose the cat you feel most aligned with, and that'll align with your poll to give you a message for today. This right here is tiger cat. So tell me when you're ready. Yeah. All right. Tiger cat, black cat, gray cat. Here's tiger. So, my tiger friends, you have joy, the king, and disruption. Are you kidding me? Wow. That's crazy, Yvonne. That's crazy. All right. So, tiger cat has joy, the king, and disruption. Okay. So, this is actually, I was like, oh, I was like, this is actually more simple. I think it's the tiger, Yvonne. This is more simple than we think. Disruption, the king, and joy. So something has happened or is about to happen that interrupts you, right? Maybe stops you, makes you pause, maybe makes you feel like, like that kind of a vibe. Choose joy. Choose joy. I'm gonna like kind of get deeper into what that means. What does it mean to choose joy? Like, what is the scientific process of choosing joy? It's you making a move or a decision based on the option that makes you feel joy. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you find yourself in a spot right now where you can't figure out which option feels like joy for you, sit back and let things settle first until you're able to process whatever is that's blocking you from allowing yourself to feel any type of enjoyment. Do you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes our programs really do get in the way of that. Something is coming to interrupt or has interrupted you. Choose joy. This is an opportunity for you to course correct into the joy. And that can also translate as the love energy, right? So, very simple message, choose joy. Is the tiger cat a female cat, Yvonne? It is your normalized magic, babe. I'm loving it. Feel like you're getting all kinds of info on these cats, huh? And I think you know how to choose. Oh wow, Nancy Nason I just actually quit a job before I was fully onboarded. It was going to steal my joy. There you go. There you go. I'm shuffling for black cat. We've got tiger cat, black cat, and gray cat. um, Tell me when you're ready for black cat. Okay. So this is your black cat. We have the king, the spider, and death. You couldn't get more black cat than that, right? All right. So, and I'm telling you, I swear, if the third poll has king in it, I'm going to laugh so hard because today the king is literally like saying, choose, choose your creativity, choose what sparks your creativity. Something has to die in order for you to do that. I don't know what it is, but I think you do. And if I'm gonna make just like a wild stab in the dark guess of like what it is that needs to die, it is your program that tells you that choosing creativity is irresponsible. Choose what sparks your creativity, what tickles your brain, what makes you feel alive. It's the same kind of idea. You know what I mean? Let die the programs that tell you that that is irresponsible. I was thinking about this the other day. People who are so fucking miserable and boring have so much to say about people who do things that are exciting, don't they? Right? Like, you do nothing with your day that's interesting to me, Brenda, and yet you think you can tell me that I'm not being serious enough? Like, why? Like, if someone's going to have an opinion about what you're doing with your life, it really shouldn't matter to you unless the way they live their life is something that you would want. All these armchair quarterbacks, right? Just yelling at the screen, being like, how did you miss that? How did you? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Meanwhile, you can't even walk up a fucking flight of stairs. So, unless you can play, shut up. Choose joy. Let die that. All right, I'm shuffling for Grey Cat. So, for my Normalized Magic members, um, I am not coming back from Connecticut until Monday, so I will not be able to do your card pulls on Sunday. So I'm gonna try to do them on Monday night. Okay, just like kind of keep that in mind if you're looking for it. But Yvonne, I was gonna say, when do you have to make a decision on the cats? Because I can pull when I do your weekly pull, I can pull about those cats. Although I think you're getting loads of information already, aren't you? I'm so excited for you to have a cat. Just get all of them. Take all of them. Oh. All right. Tell me when you're ready for Great Cat. So this is your gray. You have the novice, you have the fire fairy, and you have the goblin. What a story this morning, huh? Like very much the same story in a few different variations. So you have the novice, the fire fairy, and the goblin. Fire fairy is about optimism and creative action, creativity, birth of new things. and the novice is starting new things, right? So you have on one side the beginnings, right? Embarking on this new journey of actually allowing yourself to take creative action in your life, to be a little more optimistic, to think like, oh, everything's gonna work out, right? And then over here you have this guy of like, let me ask you a question. Who is this for you? When you start doing things your way, who is it that starts talking in your brain and telling you that you're irresponsible? It's not going to work. It's too scary. It's too much. Like who is that talking? Can you tell me who it is? Who is that person who tells you that it's not okay to do what you think you want to do your way? Who is it? I'll wait. I think you should tell the group. Out that person. Out them. Who is it? Whose voice is it? Who is it connected to? We have my dad. It can be a combo of people too, but usually there's like, if you really like think about it long enough, there's one specific person who this voice belongs to. We have parents, we have grandma. A few people are saying my shadow and mine. And if you are saying your shadow and your voice, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying take a little time to sit with it and see if it goes a little further because typically we integrate somebody else's voice as ours at some point and we don't individuate from that. So if you are saying like, "Oh, the voice in my head is mine," sit with it a little longer. See if you can trace it back a little more. Who told you that? Who told you those things? Someone told you something a long time ago. It became fact, right? You've aligned yourself. See, there we go. We have my mother, grandma, dad. So, what have we learned here in this morning's therapy session? We've learned that we have to be taught to doubt ourselves. We are not born that way. We have to have doubt inserted and narrated and handed over to us. And that is the goblin. And our job right now is to individuate from that voice that you think is yours and hand it back to whoever's voice it actually is. Because this is holding you back from having fun. And I don't know about you, but at the end of the day, what the fuck else are we here to do but enjoy ourselves? Seriously, right? If you think we came here to be miserable, to struggle, to have problems, to constantly be stressed, why would you have chosen that? Right? What kind of weird game is that? Choosing joy, choosing adventure, choosing the thing that sparks your creativity, choosing the thing that feels unstable because it was scary to your mother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything's scary to our parents. Like, what a generation. I mean, everybody's generation is wild, right? Ours is too, but like what a projecting vibe that is, right? To can you imagine like right now, like I think about it and I do project my fears onto my kids in small ways, right? Like I'm like, I don't want my son to play tackle football because I'm scared that he's going to get a brain injury and ruin his life. And I also think football's stupid. But, that's I'm projecting my fear onto his experience. But as his mother, until he's 18, I'm trying to keep that brain alive. You know what I mean? So I'm projecting a fear I have onto him that not all people have, right? Some parents are like, that's fine. It's worth the risk. To me, it's not. I can go a step further and tell my son, I don't want you to play sports at all because I find that very dangerous. And in my experience, you're going to hurt yourself and then you won't be able to be here with me in this life. And I won't be able to live with that. That is incredibly selfish of me, right? So, like, how do you moderate caring and protecting with projecting your fears onto another autonomous living being, right? that is, as a parent, the thing I wrestle with, and that like this generation of parents are wrestling with, because what we don't want to do is what our parents did, which is saddle us with all of our unresolved trauma and issues and hand them over to your children and be like, I hope you have an enjoyable time riding through life with all my baggage. Like, hope you do better than I did. Like, we don't want to do that anymore. So find out who it is that's gobbling your stuff right now. And remember, you climbed your way out of that well. And it's time to have some fun. It's time to enjoy yourself. It's time to say yes to the things that do make you feel alive and happy, right? I'll give you an example before I leave you here today about snakes, because if you haven't noticed, they are my biggest teacher right now. So I started getting these snakes, and I don't have to tell you, because if you've been around at all, you know I'm like super into them. It is such a passion. It's almost like something you never knew existed, and it's like, oh, right? And I have so much joy and so much passion about it, and I'm so excited about it, and I was so excited to tell my mom about it. And when I told her, like, I got a snake, she was like, "Oh my god, that's not a good idea." Like, how are you supposed to take care of a snake and, like, do well in school? And she had all of these negative things to say, and anytime I would talk to her, like, on FaceTime, she would like ignore me if I was talking about the snakes, or if I was showing my little nephew the snakes, like she would just ignore it. And I finally said, like, what is your fucking deal? And she's like, well, I just don't think that it's a good idea, because you have those snakes and you're not gonna be able to concentrate on school. And I said, like, how am I doing poorly in school because of these snakes? And she's like, no. And I'm like, right, like I'm an A student. The snakes have really nothing to do with my um whatever. And she's like, well, when I get hyper focused on something, and then I can't focus on the other things I really need to focus on. And she goes off on this like whole thing about like how she can't focus on things. And I said, like, that's I hear you, but I'm not you. So you're projecting your experience and how you navigate life onto me instead of listening to me. You're not listening. You're not hearing what I'm saying when I'm saying that these animals in my life are bringing me so much joy and presence, right? You're not asking any questions to understand my experience. You're just a steady stream of projection of how you wouldn't be good with it, right? And that's kind of like the way our parents operate. It's like nothing is just about you, it's all about them and how they wouldn't want to do it that way, and they're not comfortable with it that way. And respectfully, who gives a fuck at this point? What makes you comfortable or not. You aren't living my life. So you don't really like, unless I've asked your opinion, this is irrelevant. Don't you think? Like it just feels very irrelevant. So, you know, I've been dealing with that. I'm sure you've been dealing with it. Yvonne said, my mom said I don't need a cat. So now after these card pulls, I'm we buying cats. Thank you. It's exactly like why? And if we were to put our parents into therapy, right? And like they would actually apply and like want to be in therapy, we'd be able to break down why Yvonne's mom says that she doesn't need a cat. Right? It probably leads back to something in ancient fucking history that has nothing to do with Yvonne at all, and everything to do with Yvonne's mom and something that happened to her with some other person and some cat and whatever that she's been holding with her this whole time that she hasn't processed through. And that is exhausting to me. That is exhausting to me. Like the whole thing is, all of this is exhausting to me today. I'm just like super over it today, because it's like, what are we doing? Like just holding each other back for no fucking reason. Same with the Janelle said, my dad said no more tattoos. Why do you care what I do with my body? Right? Like, why do you care? If something that I do is a form of self expression that makes me feel good and attractive to me, why do you care? Why do you care? Because you haven't individuated from your fucking children is why you don't is why you care so much. You consider yourself to be them, right? And that they are direct representations of your energetic line. And the new way of parenting is like these are their own people, right? We're all our own people. So anyway, I'm ranting, but it's the vibe. Go off into this weekend Choose joy, choose adventure, choose creativity, choose the things that make you feel alive, and see, give yourself an experiment and see what that opens up. I already know because, we restarted Normalized Magic Workshop, and almost everybody in workshop this week has been in workshop with me for a few years now, have been through some major life changes. And when you say, guys, like choosing the joy, choosing the adventure, choosing the creativity, every time gets a little bit easier, but then proves itself almost immediately on the other side. Like, look how wild things can be, you know? So go off, be brave about it. And one more thing that I was thinking about too, you know how when somebody criticizes you and your immediate reaction is like, ooh, oh, why would they think that about me? But you don't ask that? Ask questions. This is retrograde time. Nobody is doing a great job right now of being clear the first time that they express something. So if someone says something to you and like you don't fully understand what they're talking about and you're about to kind of just like walk away and like process, don't. Don't walk away and process. Ask more questions. Hey, what did you mean by that? What? Can you say that again? Can you rephrase it? Can you say it 3 times? Like, ask all the questions because it's nothing is really about you. It's everyone is just projecting their bullshit. So that is coffee and magic this morning. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Yes, you tell your mom I said you should get the cat. And I will not be here Monday morning, generally speaking. Like again. So I will be figuring out what I'm doing about that. Fridays at 10 ish are always going to stay. I'm off on those days, but my internship starts next Monday. So just kind of look for that. I'm going to probably do an evening thing. And I don't know if I'll be able to do it every week, but Mondays I'm going to try to do evening and like bring the snakes out and make you look at them while we do cards and stuff. But regardless, I will always be here on Fridays at 10. So just remember that. And then if you are, hi, Bobby, if you are Coffee and Magic members with the private polls, I will be a little bit late this week with those. I'm going to try to do them Monday night, but you will get them for your week. So I love you. Have a fabulous weekend. Mwah. And Yvonne, if you do get those cats, please send pictures. Send the pictures. And thank you for being here. Goodbye, everyone.